Hey, what's up, guys? This is Team Hard Life Captain Alberto, and it is Thursday. So normally I used to do a storytelling Thursday, but I got so caught up with all the videos going out and putting, some of the history out there and stuff like that. I haven't had a chance to go back and see which stories I have shared with y'all. Obviously, it's kind of cool to hear the stories twice or whatever, but I want to make sure that they're all special in their own right, because that's what they are. So with that being said, last week I shared my testimonial, of how God has worked in my life, and it feels sometimes that like you're afraid to use God's name out in public. A lot of times you don't know when the appropriate time is because of other people's feelings, concerns, and or it's sad that we really have to watch what we say and stuff like that when it's concerning something that is our own personal beliefs and stuff. And I mean, we're not forcing it on anybody else. And the way I've seen that it works is if you're searching for him, then you'll find him and he will help you.
Gotta bite. I think I got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go, yeah, I gotta learn. I'ma call up the whole team.
And like I said, for a long time I was lost in darkness. Like that's truly the way I felt. And so the other day, this is something that happened to me on the way to work, and while I was here at work, I was saying my morning prayer, and as I was coming down this main stretch over here alongside my shop, right when I was coming up, as soon as I finished off my prayer, another church bus or a van towing a trailer behind it was, God searching for men, and it had some other stuff on there, and I should have taken a picture, but while driving I didn't think of it, and I was like, oh, I'll remember to be able to say that. Well, I didn't remember, but I do remember it was, a church-related bus on there and stuff like that. And I've seen it multiple times, and it was kind of small at that point. I was like, wow, that's awesome. He's showing off kind of deal or whatever. And so as this van is passing me by, this normal radio station that morning prayer I've shared a few months ago, it comes on like back to back to back. And then I was like, wow, that's really cool, So I get into my shop and I start getting ready, and other shop owners in the shop, and we're talking, and we start looking around, and I kind of tell him what's going on, and he's like, and it's normally on a day he doesn't work, he was here on his day off, and I was kind of telling him what's going, how my morning was going. It's like, wow, so the Lord works in mysterious ways, and I said, yes, he does, you just got to be willing to have your heart, mind, and body open to his presence, and how he works. So he was talking about some older reels that I had in the cabinet, and another gentleman walks by, and he's wearing a shirt that I'm telling you, I should have taken a picture. It was a church shirt, and it was talking about God and stuff like that. And so I was like, good morning, and he's like, morning, and he's like, well, I'm just here because they're working on my glass around the corner and this. And I said, well, come on in, and he goes, so I said, you fish? And he goes into a story, and he kind of tears up, and he goes, no, I used to. He said, I used to fish with my son. I said, but he goes, but he passed away. And at that time, I was walking toward my counter over here, and I was picking up a cooler. And I was like, oh, wow. So I stopped in my tracks. I'm holding this cooler, and I looked back at him, and his eyes were watered up. And I said, well, I'm real sorry to hear that. And I was like, he's like, yeah, my daughter and my granddaughter, they still like to go. And he goes, so I think, I kind of need to get back into it, to help them and guide them along. And while I'm holding this cooler, something inside me is telling me, I had opened it up and looked in there, and I see some lures and I see some weights and stuff. And this was the cooler that I won at a tournament. It was like a door prize or something like that. And it was actually when my buddy who just passed away, he had invited me to this tournament. He kept talking about it. So we went out there, joined up with him. He gave us a ride to a location, and I caught those 2 toaster flounder. So as I'm holding this, I'm thinking of him and stuff like that. And and so I'm sitting there, and when he tells me that he quit fishing because his son had passed away, but that his daughter and his granddaughter still go out there and fish, and talking about that things he needs to. And I said, no, I think you need to. And that's when I hand him the cooler, and he looks at me and he's like, and he didn't know what to say. I said, no, look, that's on me. And I told him about how I wanted it as a prize from another tournament and stuff like that. I said, but it's got some fishing stuff, so that way you can take your granddaughter fishing. I thought, because yes, your son may not be here, but I'm pretty positive that he would want for you to pass on the legacy of keeping his daughter and his granddaughter fishing, or your daughter and your granddaughter fishing, and he's kind of tearing up a little bit more, and he's like, man, he's like, thank you very much. He's like, I think I just needed to hear it from somebody else. He's like, I was kind of feeling it, and I was like, yeah, he sometimes tells us things that we should be paying attention to, and sometimes we don't. And so, it's that little voice, a lot of times we, say it's Jiminy Cricket, but sometimes it's a lot bigger person that's helping us out, to put us on the right track, and we sometimes ignore that little voice. And so that morning I chose to follow that voice. And so he goes, wow, he was blown away. And I was like, man, I felt good. I said, thank you. I said, thank you for letting me do that, and so he goes, awesome. He's like, well, I got a story to share with you if you have time. I said, I will make time. You come on back. And so he leaves, and I finished dealing with the other shop owner, and he walks out, and then I have another customer walk in, and we're starting to talk about his reel, and then the gentleman comes back, and so he's like, he goes, oh, I see you got cut. I said, don't worry. I said, you can talk freely in my shop. That that's the way I have it here, And so he's like, well, he was talking about that one time he went down to Mexico, and that him and his buddy were at a table, kind of across from the restaurant, and on the other side of the restaurant, he said there was a mom holding a little girl, and that she was cradling her, and you can see obviously someone was distressed with the mom and the daughter, and so they asked one of the waitresses that came by what was going on, and they found out that the little girl had been stung by a bee on her eye, and it was all swollen and stuff like that. And I don't remember if they said she was allergic or not, but they said between the two of them at the table that we need to pray for that little girl. And they were like, yeah, but they were like, they didn't know how to approach the situation. And they said when they looked over, that the little girl just got up and walked clear across the restaurant to where they were at, and just stood in front of their table, right next to them. So they go, well, there we go. We got to pray for her. So they put their hands on her shoulder, one on each shoulder, and they sat there and prayed. And they said that literally before their eyes that they could see the swelling just go away like she'd never even been stung. And she just like, awesome, and just walked right back to her mom, and her mom was freaking out right there in the store or in the restaurant. And I was like, wow. So he goes to tell me that he had heard one time that, when you've heard a lot of these miracles go on, that, yes, God does work in mysterious ways, but he's also got people that he can work through to heal others. And at that time, that really, really hit home with me, because, like I said, not even 10, 15 minutes prior to that, something hit me right here telling me I needed to do something for him. And, it also goes back down to every time I go fishing or something, I see somebody's struggling or something with the fishing, and you know, and yes, you can't help everybody. Some people don't want help, but for those that do, it truly pays it forward, because it's such an awesome feeling when you see them cast out further than they ever have, or cast out and never knew they could do it, and or catch something or figure something out, you know, with our help, and they're just like, wow, you know. And so I'm sitting there, and the customer's there, and I've got his reel on the line spooler and stuff like that, and he's just kind of with a smile and just like agreeing with, you know, what's going on and stuff like that, and what's being said here in the shop. And you know, that really just strikes back to what I was saying last week. You know, I'm here for a reason. Like I said, at first sometimes I was lost. I didn't know which way to turn, which way to go, what I was going to do or anything, but I did leave it all up to him. And he answered. So guys, you know, and also too, with last week's testimony, a lot of people have really come through and said, hey, you know what, I needed it that morning. Thank you very much. And, you know, another subscriber saying, you know what, you need to do this at least once a week. And so most people would think that Sunday would be a great day, but I am thinking that maybe this can too be part of our Storytelling Thursdays, because it just seems right for some reason. You know, I've had a lot of blessed fishing trips, blessed things go on in my life, and you know, with starting with the Storytelling Thursday, I think this will be a great opportunity for us to expand on it and, you know, share our faith, guys. I mean, and even this morning, another one of our YouTubers calls up, and you know, he's talking about the tickets for the raffle that we're doing, the fundraiser for our rod wrapper and stuff like that. And then he goes into, hey, you know, there's this other sub that y'all have. I know he's got a rod pending with y'all. And I was like, well, yeah. And we kind of talk about the amount that's owed. And he's like, well, I'd like to pay X amount toward his balance. And I was like, wow, I said, that's awesome, you know. And you know, and I just me. I was like, you know, can I ask how that came about? And you know, and he was talking about how he, you know, on the channel, you know, people share their private stuff, not complete, you know, not every little detail. And I mean, you know, I can understand why they wouldn't. I mean, it is the internet, and you know, a lot of people are real, what's the word I'm looking for? They're real reserved on what they share, because they don't want their you know, business out there and stuff like that. But there's a few of y'all, or a lot of y'all, that we do share our personal things with, and sometimes it ends up being with a phone call. We actually talk with each other. And so for me to hear that, you know, that my channel is bringing people together, you know, these guys have never met in person, but they have been communicating through the channel here. And so right there again, guys, you know, I was telling him that I set a personal goal for my kids, you know, that I want them to do at least one thing nice for somebody without asking. And, you know, and he brought up about how, you know, one time he was at a store, and, you know, he forgot his wallet, and he really wanted a drink, and he was like kind of hurt and upset that he wouldn't be able to get his drink, but that somebody behind him said, hey, you know what, I got that, and paid for his drink. And I was like, yeah, you know, paying it forward is such an awesome feeling, because, you know, when you do something like that, don't expect a thank you. You just do it, and it's such an awesome feeling, and it really pays it forward, guys. And that for me has been a real eye opener for me, that to go out and do something nice for somebody. And I would encourage every one of y'all to go out and just do something. It don't have to be money wise. It don't have to be something extreme. Something as small as opening the door for somebody, or helping somebody through a door, or, you know, if you see them, they're carrying too much gear, you know, helping them out. Or with some knowledge, hey guys, I noticed you're doing this, it may work a little bit better if you try this, you know. You know, it's helping your fellow man up, you know what I mean? It's not looking down on them, but when you do look down, it's to pick them up and get them to whatever level you're at. And like I said, it really moves me within the last few days of everything that's just been transpiring here in my shop, you know. And one part of my prayer, you know, is that his light will shine through us, through our shop, through our home, and through our lives to other people. And, you know, you may not believe, and we understand that, you know, but if you were to, it could be a real life-changing event for you guys. And if you are lost in darkness and feel you've got nowhere to turn, our lines are always open here. You can always call and just chit-chat with us and stuff like that. And I really pray for everyone on the channel and those that are in harm's way, that His healing powers will watch over y'all and will help y'all raise up, and that if you're sick with any kind of illness, pains, or anything, that y'all shall be healed, guys. I really do pray for y'all, and I really do feel humbled that I'm able to share this with y'all and that y'all are listening. And I will see y'all soon. We will all fish. That's one thing I want to do, is I need to get out and go fish some more. And, you know, I want to travel and fish with everybody that's on the channel. You know, that's my goal, is to see if I can fish with everybody that watches the channel. And there's a few of y'all that I know that illnesses, you know, hold you back and stuff like that, but maybe someday we can figure something out to where we can fish together. All right, guys, y'all have a good one. Again, if y'all haven't subscribed to my channel, I please encourage y'all to do so, because we are trying to break our 10,000 subscriber mark. We've already got a couple names entered into the free drawing, and right now it's only a couple. So I mean, y'all can win a free fishing trip with Captain Eric Hernandez and, you know, with Team Real Locos and Hook a Memory Guide Services. And then, you know, more than likely I will be in attendance for this trip, guys. We're trying to hit 10,000 subs and do it very quickly. There are a ton of big fish out right now, big sharks, big alligator gar, jack crevalles. I mean, it's going nuts, guys. So let's catch this really quick. 5 subscribers that say that you got them onto the channel will get you a free ticket into our fishing deal. It's a giveaway. And then we also have it too, that for each comment that you have, which is a totally separate fishing trip, will also help increase your odds of winning that trip too. That's another 24-hour beach fishing trip with Team Real Locos and Team Hard Life on the beach for 24 hours. 4 of y'all will win, guys. And even while we're there, I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm letting y'all know there's a big surprise out there. So just don't let this one pass you by.